Hey everyone, welcome back to episode 3 of the Comeback Collective. It is me, your host, Rebecca Shaw, and I'm here today to one, wish you a happy Mother's Day, and two, we're gonna talk about motherhood, being a mom, what it's like being a mom when you're married, what it's like being a mom when you're not married, being a single mom, being a married single mom, all the things. We're gonna cover it all today. We're also gonna talk about birth. We're gonna talk about birth. Yes, we are going to talk about birth. I don't know why I'm saying it like that because I haven't talked about it in a while. Because I'm not at that like phase of my life is so far behind me. But we're going to talk about having a C-section, having a home birth. We're just going to just quickly dust over all of it. Okay, so back in the day, prior to TikTok, Instagram, podcasting, I actually had a blog. I had a little blog and I remember typing out my birth stories on that blog. So it's wild, like sharing it again later verbally when I've only ever really shared it in a written format. So my son was born in 2016. I had planned a home birth and ended up with a C-section. My home birth did not cause my C-section. He was 10 days overdue. Water broke that morning. His poop was in the water. Knew I wasn't having a home birth. I literally had to like pack a hospital bag. Went to the hospital, was there with my ex-husband. My home birth midwife was there. I ended up laboring for like 36.5 hours. At one point they were like, do you want an epidural? And I was like, can I just skip to the C-section? Like, if that's how I'm gonna end up, can we just like do that now? Because I just knew. I was like, this is not, I'm going to have the as far opposite birth that I planned, and I just knew it and I had peace about it. And the nurse was like, no, like we really want to give you like a trial at labor. So I like look over at my ex-husband who like just gotten off like a graveyard shift, and my midwife who's like exhausted, and I was like, I can't do this without the two of them, and they're both exhausted. So I was like, I need to get the epidural so that we can all like rest and regroup and like maybe make this happen. So ended up getting a epidural. Luckily it worked. They also offered me something else, some other sort of pain medication. I remember looking at my midwife and I was like, I didn't read that part of the baby book because I thought I was gonna have a home birth. Like, what do I do? That was like how dead set I was that I was having a home birth, because everyone else I knew had a home birth. Why not have a home birth? I was like 24, 25, like why not? So anyway, labored for 36.5 hours, ended up with like some sort of an infection, and then finally like tried the whole pushing thing. It didn't quite work. So then they like took me into the ER for surgery, which I'm gonna probably piss some people off, but this is my podcast. I get to say what I want. Having a planned C-section and having an emergency C-section after 36.5 hours of labor, or 2 days of labor, or however many days you're in labor, is two different things. I don't care if you've had 4 scheduled C-sections, it's just not the same. And we just need to agree to disagree if you don't agree with me. So anyway, go into the OR, and they switch you from like your epidural drugs to whatever they're gonna cut you open with while you're completely conscious. I was completely awake while this was happening. My ex-husband's like scrubbed in. I remember looking up at him and like, is that him? Like, I couldn't tell. I almost couldn't tell. I'm like, is this just a really nice nurse or is this my husband? Like, I really didn't know. And then I'm laying there and they like, you know, are kind of walking me through. I can't see anything. And again, right, I'm on pain medication, so I'm high as a kite. So they like slice me open, and then they have to like wiggle you like this to like get the baby out, because they still want to like squeeze it out to like give it that same like effect that like helps them start breathing or whatever. And when they were like going like this to me, I was laying there and I was like, earthquake, because I was high out of my mind. And everyone in the OR starts busting up. All these nurses were like, I've been doing this for 25 years. I've never heard someone say that before. Because I was just trying to make light of the situation. I was like, this did not go as planned. There's absolutely nothing I can do about it. So anyway, had him in the hospital, 10 days late, had a C-section. It was the most horrific thing to recover from. I ended up having an infection at home, like had to go back in, have it drained. Like, it was just, it was horrible. The type of birth that probably most people would be like, I'm not having another kid. But I was like, I went home and I was like, I'm gonna have my next baby at home. Like, there was not a doubt in my mind. Even my midwife was like, she's like, I know it might be too soon, but I really think like you should still like, you know, the next time you want to have another baby, she knew I wanted to have more than one kid, you should still plan for home birth. And I was like, yeah, I totally agree. So then I spent probably like 18 months after that, like getting my body like ready to have a baby vaginally. Is that a weird word to use? Am I allowed to use that word? So I think she had me on collagen. She had me on some other supplements to like basically like re-strengthen everything. And she was like, just don't get pregnant for at least 18 months or I can't like assist you in another home birth. I'm like, okay, sounds good. So a couple years go by, did the whole healing my body thing, got pregnant again, was like, I'm gonna plan for a home birth, and ended up having a home birth. I still was in labor with my daughter for like 26 and a half hours. Long time. Had her at home. My water broke like when I was pushing. I remember being like, did you guys see that? It's kind of weird though for me to talk about her birth because we all know that the other person there was the woman that my ex-husband had an affair with. So I have like so many memories of her birth are like blocked out because of that situation. But anyway, it was very redemptive. Very redemptive. I was very thankful that I had a home birth after my C-section. I think they call it like a VBAC or whatever. But again, I'm like so far removed from all of that stuff. So those are my two little quick birth stories. Let me know if I should throw them back up on my website. My website and my blog are still like intertwined, and so I could actually probably put the full birth stories on there. I don't think I went back in and like removed my ex-best friend slash ex-husband's mistress from that blog, but everything is still kind of like pretty intact. Like if you were to read it, it was written obviously when I was married, so but I'm not gonna go back in and change it. That's kind of weird. Anyway, so let me know if you want me to throw those up on my website. I will. You can actually read them. So to conclude my little birth stories, my daughter's birth was very redemptive. I'm always like looking for redemption in every situation that has not gone my way in the last 5 to 10 years. I also learned a lot from my son's home birth. I feel like it kind of like knocked me down a little bit in a good way because I was part of this like crunchy moms group where I used to live, and some of the people who were like the head of that group were just like so opinionated on like having anything to do with the hospitals, like, you know, like just they were against it. And I'm like, no, modern medicine is here for a reason. But it's not my first go-to, but I'm gonna get there eventually if I need to so that we can all still be here today. Okay, let's talk about being a single mom versus being a married single mom. You might be like, what's a married single mom? Being a married single mom is when you're married, but you still do everything. You're still the primary parent. You're still the one who runs the household, and you're basically doing everything like you would be if you were a single mom. You just either don't have any sort of a break from like split custody, or you don't, you know, it's just, it is what it is. I don't know really what more to say. It's a little hard for me to say like which one is more difficult. Like, was being like married, young mom, young kids more difficult than being a single mom? It's one of those things because my kids were so little when I was married, and then they were so little when I first started being a single mom. It's kind of hard to decide. Like, I feel like if I had become a single mom when they were older, it would have probably been a little bit easier. But also, it's kind of all we know. It's all we know. But if you're in that, like, I'm feeling like a married single mom, I want to encourage you to figure your situation out. Figure it out, because you are not stuck there. You don't need to be stuck there. I'm going to try to get through this without sounding like I'm just, like, bashing my children's father. I'm trying to focus on like my POV. So when I was married and then later on found out I was a married single mom, I didn't realize it. I didn't know. That wasn't a term that was like floating around. That wasn't a buzzword on social media back in the day. But now I'm like, oh yeah, married single mom. So being the primary parent, primary caretaker, like person who does all the bills, all the this, all the that, all the cooking, all the cleaning, it just like takes all the joy out of life. There is no joy left when you get it all just sucked out of you. And then especially like physically, if you're still doing something like breastfeeding or whatever, like you're like mentally having the life sucked out of you, physically having the life sucked out of you. Being a mom is hard. Being a mom is very, very hard. That's why women are mothers. I know there's some like really good dads out there, so obviously I'm not talking to you. You're the exception, not the rule. So when the divorce happened, we didn't do the whole like splitting holiday thing, which sometimes I'm like, am I gonna regret that? Am I gonna regret that decision? So anyway, for the last 5 years, I actually have not seen my kids on Mother's Day because we live like 30 miles apart. It's not easy, conducive to do something quick. Obviously, we all know we don't get along, so there's no like, let's all do it together. So because my kids don't do well with short transitions, it was just easier for them to stay with their dad, and then I would spend time with my mom and my grandma, which now that my grandmother passed a few months ago, I look back and it was so nice because we would do holidays with like my dad's dad, my mom's parents, me and my brother and my parents, and we could actually like sit down and enjoy a meal. Again, my PTSD is like coming back to me because, and again, sometimes you don't know until you know, but it's not fun. It's not fun. I'm gonna say it, what we all are thinking. It's not fun to try and have an adult meal with children around. And maybe you have enough children that they all kind of like manage each other, or you've got like an older one that kind of helps. I don't know. But in the past, I've been completely miserable celebrating anything with my 2 kids around. And it's because I didn't have any help. It was like me and my mom, you know, like, okay, we've got 1 kid, like they're sitting in our lap while we're trying to eat. And it's like, okay, is this day about the kids or is it about the moms? Like, is it, I don't know, right? So we decided, you know what, let's just enjoy the season of like not having small children a couple times a year on certain holidays and actually get to spend time as adults, which now that 2 of my 3 grandparents have passed in like the last 3 months, I'm glad that we had that time together. So this year, best of both worlds, we're doing lunch with the grown-ups, and then I get to see my kids at baseball. So, and they're at the point now where they're getting to be old enough that no one's sitting in each other's lap and they can sit and they can eat and they can go like do their own thing after whatever. But I also just don't really want to take them from their dad because they have such a limited amount of time with him. So we'll see what the future holds, and you know, probably will just start keeping them because I miss taking them to church and stuff like that. So anyway, I'm rambling, so let's carry on. So I was thinking about it, I was like, what is one of the things that motherhood has taught me? It's taught me that I'm a very scary person. I'm a very scary person, right? Like if you mess with the bull, you're gonna get the horns. Like you mess with the cubs, you're gonna get the mama bear, right? So that's probably like my defense is always up being a single mom. There's no one else here to protect us or protect them. It's just me, right? So we've had a lot of things happen in the last 5 years, and the worst part about all of them is no one ever like takes into consideration that I have 2 children, right? So like ex-husband, ex-best friend having an affair, like no one thought like, oh, this is gonna affect the children's life, or like my cousins who raised my rent and then turned me into code enforcement, like, oh, let's make these 2 children homeless twice, right? Like I'm fine, I'm tough, I go sleep in my car, I'll be okay, but it's like there's 2 children involved. 2 little kids who are like so sweet, so precious, like didn't do anything to deserve this. So that's what's always wild to me, is when people are like, I'm gonna get Rebecca. I'm like, what about these other 2? What about them? What about them? Like, leave me alone for their sake. Jesus Christ. Lord almighty. Yeah, again, even like my aunt turned us in, like all these horrible things happen. I'm like, y'all, I've got 2 kids. I've got 2 kids. Like, hello, watch out. You that's why I'm gonna come for you, because it's them I've got to protect. Okay, these are a few of my favorite things about being mom. My kids have like iPads, right? They can like iMessage me. My son has a little phone, doesn't work, only on Wi-Fi, so he'll just like text me and stuff when he's at my parents' house, or call me or whatever. And he'll like send me selfies, and then I'll send him selfies back, and he'll be like, I love it. I'm like, oh my gosh, not my son giving me like more words of affirmation than any man has ever given me. Or my daughter they're both very artistic. My daughter's very artistic. She comes home every single day with something she's made, and she like write her name and my name and my son's name, and it's cute. It's also wild parenting someone who is like a mini version of yourself. Like I'm so different than my parents, so like I mean I got what I got coming for me, right, with my own daughter, but I'm so different than my own parents, because I'm not like firstborn girl personality, right? And my mom's like a middle child, my dad's a younger brother, so I'm the firstborn of the family. Well, my daughter, she's the secondborn, but I don't know what she's Queen Bee for sure, which is funny because her name starts with a B. She's Queen Bee. She's 6 going on 16. I'm in for it for sure. She's like a CEO of her own YouTube channel though by then I'm not gonna complain. She'll try to tell me what to do, and I'm always like, until I'm your paid manager, you're not bossing me around. That's what I always say to them. I go start a YouTube channel, and when you have to hire me to be your manager, then you can tell me what to do. But until then, get in line. Okay, I was at church and I felt like I needed to add a little bit more of like a takeaway for you. So we're back. We're back again. Also, I posted this morning like a get ready with me on Instagram, TikTok, and it's crazy like how different the two cultures of the different apps are, because TikTok basically took the video and was like, oh, you don't want to be with your kids on Mother's Day, right? Because that's what TikTok does. They like pick one little snidbit and then they make that the whole narrative in the comment section. Versus Instagram, I was like, let me know in the comments what you're actually doing for Mother's Day. And that's really what the comments were people being like, either telling me what they did for Mother's Day or being like, oh, this really resonated with me. I'm going through something similar. And remember, all of my content is for the girlies, for the girlies, and most of my content is geared towards women who've struggled, single moms, things like that. I'm not saying that if you're married we can't like have anything in common, but if you're like, this doesn't make sense to me, it's probably not for you. Just keep that in mind. All right, takeaways for the struggling mom. And I will always identify. I identify as a struggling mom. I'm a mom and I struggle, so I'm a struggling mom. Anyway, 1, you are not alone, even when it feels like it. Just because no one sees the weight you carry doesn't mean it's not heavy and your efforts matter. Number 2, there is no such thing as a perfect mom. You're allowed to have hard days, lose your patience, and still be an incredible mother. Number 3, your kids don't need a Pinterest mom, they need a present one. The little moments you show up, messy hair, tired eyes, and all are what they will remember. Number 4, asking for help is a sign of strength, not failure. You were never meant to do this alone. Community and support are part of the process. Number 5, you are allowed to want more for yourself. Taking care of yourself isn't selfish, it's essential. A thriving mom raises thriving kids. Number 6, your story isn't over. Even in the chaos, healing and hope are still possible. This hard season is shaping something stronger within you. Number 7, love isn't always loud or fancy. Sometimes it looks like folding laundry, showing up for bedtime, or whispering, I love you when no one hears it but God. So on that note, we will be wrapping this episode up. I thank you guys so much for being here. Happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day, whatever that may look for you. Whether that means you're hanging out by yourself, don't feel guilty about it. Do not let someone else make you feel guilty for spending time alone. I'm trying to be really polite right now. I'm trying to be really polite. Because remember, anytime someone gives you a hard time for something, they're probably jealous. And we're just gonna end it right there. End it right there because I don't wanna be mean. We're gonna end it right there. Love you guys. Have the best rest of your day. Be sure to follow the Comeback Collective on YouTube, Spotify, Instagram, and then of course you can find me everywhere at _real Rebecca, spelled REBEKAH, like the Bible, over on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, all the places. All right. Love you guys. Bye.